Okay guys, we're back, and what we're gonna do right now is we're gonna go ahead and fill in this middle section of the snowman's body. So all you're gonna do is just fill it in, make it look beautiful. You can push that icing around, and don't be afraid to use a lot of icing. I think this icing might be a little bit too thin, but it's gonna work. And you know, this is not rocket science, it's just fun, so just go with it. Just fill it, go with it. And while we're gonna let this dry, we're gonna do the scarf in just a minute, but while we're, before we can do the scarf, we have to let the middle part dry. So we're gonna move on to the snowflake. So you're gonna do the same thing with your blue. We're gonna cover the entire snowflake with blue, so remember to cut a very small bit of that and knead your icing. Okay, now when you do these corners, they're kind of tricky. You want to drag your icing and then set it down. You kind of set it as you go. And you'll get better at this. It's kind of a technique that you learn as you do them. And it does not have to be perfect. But you want to outline your cookie, and then you want to flood it. So here's our outline. Now we're going to flood it. And all you do to flood it is just press just a little harder with your icing. Go all the way around the perimeter. You can fill in each little leg or hand, whatever it is. It's so soothing. It's like therapy. If we only had some Christmas music on. And you just fill the rest of it in. And when you get this filled in, you're gonna push it around with your icing just to make sure that all the spots are filled. And then you're gonna let this set for just a little bit before you put the detail on the top of it. So that's about good. So you can kind of just take your scribe or your toothpick and just make sure that all this icing is where it needs to be. And sometimes it's good, oh, here's the little piece right here. Sometimes it's good to give it just a little bit of a shake and even drop it a couple of times on your table, and that makes it smooth out a lot better. Spot does not want to fill in. Uh-oh. So this kind of came off the edge, but that's okay. There's nothing that happens that we can't fix. Okay, so we're ready to move on to the scarf, and you can make the scarf any color you want. I think I'm gonna try red. And I'm gonna do this little section of the scarf first, because I want it to look like it's got some detail on it. So I'm gonna do this little piece first. And then I'm gonna do the bottom section. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna leave a little section open for the tie of the scarf. And we're gonna go in and fill this section in. And he's really not quite dry enough. We should let him dry just a little bit more, but since this is a video, we're gonna go with it. And be creative. You know, you can give him polka dots, you can make him have stripes, you can do whatever you want. And in your packs, you should have some of these little dots, these little red dots. I like to use these for the buttons. For his little buttons on his belly. And you need to do this before he dries. Or if he is already dry, you can use just a little touch of icing to hold it on for you. Now, one thing, this is kind of a cool technique that I like to do. You can give him some little stripes on that scarf like this. This is while the icing is still wet. This is a wet on wet technique. So then you can take your little scribe, and if you pull it through, it gives it a very cool effect. So you can try that. You can use any color you want. You can do these little, the upper part of the scarf. You cannot make a mistake. Just have fun with it. And then when that dries just a little bit, you can go in and fill this middle part in. And here's our finished snowman.